Before I get started, I'd like to ask you kind folks a question. You know what this means, right? Okay, so we can all agree that a genius is someone of higher than average human intelligence. Okay, great, excellent, just what I wanted to hear. On to my first point. Jokes. All of you, well, none of you, are geniuses. What you are is very, very, very wrong. Now, there's nothing wrong with being wrong. You know, the Wright brothers, the guys who made the plane, their first model crashed into the side of a bar in 5 seconds after takeoff. But, you know, things happen. What we've done in today's world is we've taken the word genius and we used it as a verbal pedestal. Something to put those who have reached the IQ level of 140 and, well, put them above the rest. To celebrate them. To commemorate them for what they've done, what they've achieved. To put this number in perspective, the average intelligence in terms of an IQ scale is 100 for a human, and people spend 10 to 20% of their lifetime working themselves down to the bone only to grow about 7 points. Imagine the kind of lives people live out. Constantly being told you aren't smart enough because this number tells you so. It's demeaning, and it's detrimental to your ability to grow as a person. Don't get me wrong, strictness in academics is always helpful to help you with this, but as I've grown up, I've noticed that the line between self-punishment and self-discipline has become blurred. The line between constructive criticism and direct insults have become blurred, from mentors to peers to even ourselves. So you think of genius and you think it looks like, I don't know, Albert Einstein, something we hold up high. But what genius actually looks like is something more along the lines of this. Nice place, huh? So this is something I've worked a lot on. It's hard to figure out how to explain this to you, and this room concept is the best way I can. This may seem like a stupid metaphor at first, but if you give me your time, I can explain it to you. Now, if this room was your room, what would it look like? Just try to imagine that. What color would the walls be? What posters would you have on the walls? What kind of decor would you have? What would your bed look like? Would it be messy? Would it be neat? This is all a representation of you, who you are. It's from the floor to the ceiling, it's all your personality. This is your room. There are certain things in the room that often change. You may pick up a book, read a bit, and then put it down somewhere else. Certain things are constantly shifting, moving their position, not knowing where they belong. In your mind, this is considered your daily thoughts, your actions, things that go through your head on a daily basis. They're in 1 second and out the door next. Other things, like your bed, or a couch maybe, they're more rigid. They stay there. They're your core beliefs, your creed, what makes you, you. So that's how our room works. So the most important thing to take away from this is what keeps going, your ideas, what flows in and out of your room. You still have your image of your room? Okay, good. I want you to focus on one specific aspect. The door. The gateway between your mind and the rest of the world. This is the gateway to genius. Think of genius as some form of storage unit, something you keep a bunch of stuff in. The more you open your door, the more you allow yourself to this. You can pull things in. Now, the way the IQ scale works in terms of this room is that the higher your IQ, the bigger your room, and the more stuff you can cram into it. If your room isn't big enough, or if your IQ is too low, you won't have enough stuff. You won't have enough room to put stuff in. This isn't right. With the terms of genius, you don't really have walls to your room, or defined walls. Your room can be infinitely large. You can put as much stuff in there as you want. So how does one get their door from looking like this to this? Well, it's a matter of perspective. If you're like me and you're a bit of a pessimist, then realistically, look at some situation and, actually think about, like, I know this just has a lot of ways of going wrong, but how can it go right? If you put yourself in your own mental space and never leave that, you're welding your door shut, and you'll never grow as a person. Try to experience life through the eyes of other people. If you've never really related to another person, another point of view, try your hardest to. Anarchists, for example, I've never related with them in any way. I can't believe people can think like we can just work, that our world and reality can work on a sense of complete chaos. But think of what they strive for in terms of what I could relate to. Freedom, freedom of choice, freedom that anyone can be what they want, no one can tell them what to do. That seems like a good idea. Of course, I don't want every day being the purge, but this is an idea I've worked to because of something personal to me. When I took a test, an IQ test a while ago, my psychologist that I tested under recommended me as 140 on the IQ scale. I never bragged about this. I never said, oh, look at me. But as I went on, I noticed that I began to detach from other people. I was looked at as someone who was practically an alien, inhuman. It was almost as if what had made me human, my humanity, had been stripped away from me as soon as people noticed that this guy is kind of smart. I have a story for you. At the beginning of one of my school years, we had a pretty large writing assignment, and my teacher wanted to teach us how to make a really good introductory paragraph, because of course, the introduction is what leads to the piece. I had already made mine like 5 days ago, and she can access everyone's pieces, so she managed to stumble upon mine, and she asked me, hey, can I use this in an example? And she was like, sure, totally. I don't see anything wrong that could happen with this. She showed mine, and I was met not with respect, not with celebration, not that I wanted to, but what I was met with was pessimism, spite, hate, and envy. I saw people throw their creativity away right in front of me. I had people ask me to write their papers right in front of me. I had this one person who went up to me at my locker and said, it's unfair that I'm in their class. They said that I'm so smart that it's unfair for people to be in the same class as me, as if me being who I am was detrimental to their grade. Kind of insulting, honestly. I know they didn't mean bad will, but it still hurt. And this is why I'm trying to stick up for people like me and just, well, everyone, even people who are considered dumber. This is why I want this idea of genius to take off, because I'm one of 2 people recorded right now that actually support this. Out of a world of 7 billion people, 2 people understand this. So if I've inspired you in any way to help me, because I need help with this. I can't do this on my own. I can't spread this idea. So if I've inspired you, please practice the way of genius in your own life. Imagine your mind is a room. Open your doors to other people, to other walks of life. And you become something more than what you could imagine. It could help people who are considered less intelligent. It could help people who are considered more intelligent to relate. It could bring us all together. There are far more dire problems in our society. Violence nearly everywhere. But if we can solve this, we have to make the world a better place. That's our duty. One small step at a time, huh? That's all I have to say. Thank you for your time.